Good morning. Do I have a video for you guys today? I am currently in Three Forks, Montana. We just got done filling up and we are headed to Post Falls, Idaho. Now, the reason that's really interesting or anything really cool is because I am going to be testing out the 10-speed. I'm going to be showing you guys how it works, what it does. And the reason this little area is cool is because there's 3 major passes in a row on our route ahead. The 3 passes that are coming up ahead on our route is, first and foremost, we have Butte. That's the biggest, scariest one. Second, we got Lookout Pass. That's on the Montana-Idaho border. And then third, we got 4th of July Pass. So it's gonna be 3 passes in a row. I'm gonna show you in this video how this thing shifts up the passes, both in cruise control and on when I'm driving by my foot, right? So, and that's the important part because I don't wanna like go up the pass, come back down and do it again and record the video, you know what I mean? So I've been waiting to get up in this area so I could do this type of video about the transmission and about this 10-speed, how it shifts. But that's not all. We're going to test also the MPG on this run. So I just filled up at the pilot. I just pulled forward. Obviously you can see there's no trucks behind me, so I wanted to start the clip right here. And because I just filled up, we can basically start, we can mark it off right here. We're starting at the Flying J in Three Forks and we're headed to Post Falls. We're gonna know exactly how many miles that is. And I am doing the TFL now, the TFL truck, the method. I did the 30 seconds where you wait and then you top it off one time, and that's gonna be what I'm gonna use once I get to Post Falls, Idaho at that Flying J when I fill up. Now, really quickly, I want to show you what I'm working with. So first and foremost, we got the GoPro. That's going to be the dash cam. Second of all, we got the Osmo Pocket, I think it's called, or something like that. So that's going to be the stabilized over the dash. And third, I got another GoPro actually that I will be wearing on my forehead so that you guys can kind of see what I see when I'm going up the mountains. So that just, you know, from the driver type of perspective. Enough talking, because this is going to reduce our MPG. Let's hit the road, boys. All right, let's go. Okay, so I think this is, this might be Butte. Yeah, this is Butte Pass. I think this is it. Yes, it is. Look at all these slow trucks coming up. Now, the challenging part about Butte Pass is there's a sharp corner that, or a sharp curve that you can only go like 45, 50 miles an hour on. And so you want to carry some momentum, you know, so you want to try to go 60, but inevitably you get to that corner right there. I don't know if you can see that. You get to that corner right there and you just gotta, you lose all your momentum because you gotta slow down, you know, 15, 20 miles or so. So right now is a perfect example. I'm driving with my foot, right? I'm not on cruise control, and it's just holding 7th. I kid you not, on the Ram, at anything over 55 miles an hour, the Ram switches to 6th. And 6th, the RPMs are too low. And so that's the issue. That's the difference between a 6-speed and a 10-speed. It just, it keeps you in the gear that just is perfect for that speed. It really does. I don't know, I'm not sure how they program. Okay, now it's an 8th, which 8th is still fine. Because look at the RPMs. RPMs are 1,700 or so, you know? And so at 1,700 RPMs, it'll still do fine.
Okay, see, dropped down to 7. And look at how many RPMs it just dropped down. Or dropped up, or went up, I guess. So it went from, what, 1,700 to 1,900 or so? You know, like, that's perfect. That's literally perfect, because I don't need it to go from 1,700 RPMs to 2,700, right? And that's what a Ram would do. Like, when it goes from 6th to 5th, that's what it does. On a Ford, by dropping 1 gear, you go from 17 to 19, which that's the whole point of the 10-speed. That's okay. So now I need a little more throttle, so it drops 1 gear. That's another 500 RPMs. But see, it doesn't like staying in 6th gear for some reason. That's the only problem. This is what I'm noticing, that it just hates 6th gear. And I think 6th gear is not overdrive, whereas 7, 8, 9 are, or 7, 8, 9, 10, they're overdrive, and 6th is not. And so I think they programmed it that 6th is not very fuel efficient, and so that's why they don't like to keep it there. But I mean, you know, I'm at my max weight, and I could, you know, I could floor this thing, and it's going to accelerate no problem up the mountain. Like, no problem. Like, there you go, look. We were going 50, 55, now we're going 60, 62, 63. Like, no problem. Like, this is a steep grade. I'm almost 26,000 pounds, and this thing is just climbing steady. Absolutely no problem. Dude, the Ram, I'm telling you, I've driven this hill on the Ram before, and on the Ram, once you're stuck in 5th, it will not accelerate, or the speed will not increase no matter what you do. The Ram was, and I get that Ram had the Chrysler transmission, so it was detuned, but still, that Ram with that engine and that transmission couldn't pull these hills and accelerate at my max weight, which is 26,000 pounds. And so I'm flooring it right now, and you can see it's holding 7th, 2,500. Okay, I mean, I don't want to, I realize there's some sharp corners and whatnot, so I don't want to go too fast into them. Okay, so right there it just dropped to 9th, which it usually doesn't do that. But look, again, like, it's holding 9th, right? It's not going into 10th. And that's the important part, because there's so many gears to choose from, it kind of chooses the right gear all the time somehow. Like, right now is a perfect time to be in 9th. It's not the perfect time to be in 10th, because I'm not going fast enough to be in 10th. When I'm going over 65 or 70, 10th makes sense. When I'm going just, okay, so finally it switched to 10th because I'm coasting downhill. But still, on the Ram, it would just always race to 6th, always. I don't know how they put this corner as a 60-mile-an-hour corner. Okay, so it's holding it. 4th gear is holding it. I'm slowing down a little bit. You can see that, just barely slowing down. So the exhaust brake in 4th gear works all right. And that's probably my biggest complaint about this truck. It just has a bad exhaust brake. Like, it's weird. I don't know why. It doesn't hold me back as much. So look, you can see, I mean, Butte is a pretty steep hill, you know what I mean? So you can see right there that to hold your speed, it's either what, 4th, 5th, right? That's what you want to be in to hold your speed, because it's just barely slowing down right there. You can see we started at, but as soon as I touch the throttle, here you go, it switches, okay? And so let's say, can we hold it? Let's set cruise control, 52 miles an hour. Will 6th hold it? Will the exhaust brake in 6th gear hold it to go? So I mean, let's see. So now we're on really flat land, and we're getting hopefully a really good MPG, but it says 337 miles till empty, and I have 274 miles till the Pilot or the Flying J in Post Falls, Idaho. So I think it's gonna be, I mean, if it's accurate, you know what I mean? If that thing is accurate, there's a chance that we can make it all the way there. in Lookout Pass, or when I'm going up Lookout Pass, the thing I'm going to do differently is I'm just going to set cruise control at 50 miles an hour. And I think that should help like kind of show you what it does when that happens. So because when I drive it by the foot, it just selects the gear that it thinks I want, and that's usually what the gear I want. So by the foot it does really well, and that's what we did during Butte. So let's really quickly get through Missoula and keep making this good progress, and we'll be climbing Lookout in no time.
Okay, so the plan is, I think we're on exit, what, 8, 9, something, or mile marker 8, 9, roughly, right in there. So, I mean, we're gonna start climbing Lookout Pass here in a couple of minutes. So, but the thing is, here's the plan, right? The plan is, I'm at 55 miles an hour right now for the cruise control. So, I'm gonna leave it. I think at 55 is a good speed. I think I'm gonna leave it at 55 and see how this thing shifts and so on and so forth. So, but I think that's what I'm gonna leave it at, that speed right there. We got a couple of signs: be alert for changing road conditions. It's 32 degrees. It was 33, so it's just getting a little colder. I mean, at the peak, it might be freezing. So you gotta definitely keep an eye out for ice and stuff like that. Look, the truck is doing something kind of weird. Why is it slowing down? It's 50, 49. Look, it like got stuck in 10th. Okay, finally 9th. Okay, that's weird. Look how much it's slowed down. Why? That's weird. It doesn't usually do that. Okay, there we go. Now we're back up to 55. Yo, what's up, guys? It's Alex, the editor. A couple things about this part of the video, okay? I was recording with the same GoPro, with this, like, nothing changed. The same GoPro. I was recording the gauge cluster. And I have 4 hours of footage of the gauge cluster that was all perfectly fine. But the moment this truck starts acting up, I now have a bunch of, this part of the GoPro footage is now time lapse. And so it's really choppy because the camera only like takes a picture every 10 seconds and it kind of stitches it. So what I'm saying doesn't line up with what the video is showing. But a little bit about this weird like issue with the gauge, or not with the truck, with the shifting, is for some reason when I had my cruise set at 55, it would hold it at 55, slowly start slowing down till 45, and then drop to 5th gear, accelerate back to 55, and then try it again, and then slowly start slowing down. And it did that 3 times, right? Slow down, drop to 5th, and so 3 times it did that. And then eventually it just learned, and I mean, I think it learned. I'm not sure how that works, but eventually it just says, then it just stays in 8th gear. So I realize the GoPro won't really show that, but if you pay attention, you can kind of see the gauge, the speed drop all the way down, the RPMs jump, you'll see that. So, but it won't really line up with what I'm saying because the GoPro is in time-lapse recording for some reason. So I apologize about that. I will try to replicate this issue in another video, and I will explain it, or I will try to replicate it and show it again. See, what is it doing right now? That's so weird. Like, why did it slow down so much? It's like it wants to be in 10th. Like, it might be a good idea to lock it out if you're going slow. Like, look at it, and now it's like, oh, full throttle. It's like, come on. That. Usually I don't do cruise control when I'm climbing the passes, so I've never experienced this. But it's good. I want to see what it's gonna do. But obviously right now it goes to 10th, and at 10th there's not enough boost or not enough power. There's something not enough, and it just slows down until it gets to like 40 something, and then it just jumps to 5th or 6th or something. Watch, look, slowly slowing down, slowly slowing down. Watch, look at this. Why? Look. Okay, 9th. What is it doing? 45 miles an hour. And my cruise is clearly set at 55. Okay, 43 miles an hour. 42 miles an hour. 8th. 6th. 5th. See, I mean, if I actually wanted to keep it in cruise control and like do this, I would just lock it out in like whatever, 7th or something. But for some reason, yeah, it doesn't. It's having a brain fart. That's seriously. Okay, now it's holding 8th. Hold on.
Okay, there you go. Maybe it learned. It learned. Hey, we can't do 10th. Okay? See now that's more like it. Look out past 1 mile, right? Exit 0. Now that's more like it. This is normally what it does. It just holds 8th, just like it's doing right now. So I don't know, maybe down at the bottom of the hill, like the grade came on really quickly and it shifted to 10th or something. But you saw that, right? It slowed down 10 miles and then it jumped up or dropped 5 gears and then it, you know, sped up really quickly. But usually this is how it acts. It just holds 8th, no problem, and it just, like, this is it. For some reason, it went into 10th a couple of times. That was really, really weird. But yeah, look, rock steady, 8th gear, no problem, 55 miles an hour, just like I said it, and we're half a mile from the peak, from the summit. Okay, so first and foremost, welcome to Idaho. Welcome to the Pacific time zone or whatever, or Pacific Standard Time, that's what it is. And you can see right here, I am in 6th gear. I am holding steady 54 miles an hour on the downhill right now, as you can see, where it's kind of nice. It's holding it. Okay, we're slowing down, 53. That's good. So 6th gear. And so, like, this is what I mean with the exhaust brake when I say it kind of sucks, right? Because look at it. Like, the downgrade maybe increased a little bit. And it just, in 6th gear, it couldn't hold it. Look, we're doing 59 now, almost 60 miles an hour, and it couldn't hold it. Dude, I'm telling you, on the Cummins, the exhaust brake will hold you like any gear, any speed. You know what I mean? Whatever you want, it'll hold it, slow you down. This thing, not so much. And so that's down. So now I realize the exhaust brake has nothing to do with the transmission. I get it. But I'm just saying, you know what I mean? It's like, maybe if I dropped it to 5th, would it hold it more? I don't know. But that's a common complaint that I hear, that the Power Stroke just doesn't have as good of an exhaust brake. So that makes sense, I guess, that it doesn't hold it either way. And just like that, we're done with the second one. And to be honest, the next one that we have left, it's Lookout Pass. No, it's 4th of July. We just did Lookout. 4th of July is probably the easiest one. It has the lowest peak, and it probably doesn't even have that like big of grades. So we'll see. Okay, here we are, exit 34. And I think this is, it looks like on the maps and whatnot, it looks like 4th of July Pass, the last one. 4th of July is starting. You know right away, as soon as there's a sign for chain up area, that means the pass is starting, boys. So here we go, chain up area next right. Obviously there's no laws in force right now because it's warm and there's no ice, because we saw the sign wasn't flashing. So we're just gonna go right up this thing. My cruise is set 60 miles an hour. Let's try to replicate the issue that we had previously. Apply the brakes because the sign said it's a 50 mile an hour turn. I mean, I'm going 55, so it's not unreasonable. Okay, look at here. Remember the third time it was just holding 8th gear and I was saying that's what it normally does, like literally 5 minutes ago? Guys, then, like, look, here you go. I'm holding it 57 miles an hour. It's just holding rock solid 8th gear. So I have no idea why it was doing that 55 mile an hour thing in 10th. And then it like downshifted to 4th and 5th or whatever it was. So that was a really weird occurrence, and I knew that was abnormal right away. So I'm not sure. Like this, perfect thing, 55, 54 miles an hour, 8th gear, no problem, climbing right up the hill. Now, if you want to accelerate, it drops to 7th, and then, you know, you can start to accelerate. But we're not trying to do that, okay? We're trying to just be reasonable, go up the hill, and be safe. All right, here it is, exit 28. That's the summit, or that's the recreation area, and then right after that, it's the summit. And right away, you start seeing, hey, truckers, slow down. There's a steep grade, then there's a parking turnout. Check your brakes. And the downhill on this thing, look, 6% grade, 0.4 miles, like half a mile downgrade, like that's nothing. So, guys, this pass really, you know, it's basically nothing. Like, to be honest, you know, it just snows up here, so that's why you want to be careful, just in case it was coming down really hard. You know, I mean, you definitely want to pay attention then. But it's definitely not one of those things like, hey, you got to make sure you're in the right perfect gear, or else you're gonna, you know, crash and die. So, but that's gonna do it for the passes, guys. Let's go to the truck stop and see how much we spent on fuel. Right now, the gauge says 11.9 MPG. It says 190 miles to empty, and I mean, this thing has been doing great.
Let's get some diesel. Okay, so I have pulled forward and crunched the numbers, and right now the truck is saying that I did 339.1 miles and I got 12.0 MPG. On Google Maps, when you do my location to the truck stop where I started, it's 344 miles. So it's either 339 or 344, roughly a difference of 5 miles, not the end of the world. Now, when you do the 339.1 divided by what we filled up on, which was 29.638 gallons, that gives us a total of 11.441392.8 miles per gallon. And when you do the same thing with the Google Maps, which was 344 miles, right, that comes out to 11.606. So maybe we end up somewhere in the middle. We'll call it literally 11.5 miles to gallon, towing in the mountains, okay, 3 passes, and it's almost at my max weight. I'm 25,700 pounds, you guys. I look forward to hearing from you guys in the comments down below. What did you think about this video? How was my, my cameras, my testing, my up and down, my so on and so forth, you know what I mean? I really look forward to hearing from you guys in the comments below. And what do you think about the results, you know what I mean? And I will see you guys in the next video.